Hi, my name's John. I'm self-employed, live in Solihull. I've always liked this particular Mercedes-Benz SL. I think it's absolutely perfect for weekend use, maybe a continental trip. Recently saw this one for sale on eBay, as it was at a local independent retailer, decided to go and look at the vehicle. Really liked the car, and I'm aware there's some cosmetic issues with the car. I'm not especially mechanically minded, but I'm no mug either. I'm aware the car hasn't come with any service history, which did concern me, which is why I've decided to take it to the SLSHOP for one of their thorough health checks. I'm aware there are some issues with the car, I just hope they're not major ones.
Did you have a good journey down today?
Yes, I did, thanks. I did notice on the way down that the brakes were a little bit sticky on the car.
Oh, right, okay. I can make a couple of notes of that.
I suppose my main concern is that as I purchased the car without any service history whatsoever, I'd like the car checked over to make sure that it's safe and legal.
Okay. Well, the procedure we'll do today anyway is, with a health check, is we get the car in, we get it up onto the ramp, we look at mainly the key areas like the brakes, the steering and the suspension, and a general sort of look underneath the car. All those points are then noted down. Once we've done that, the car will then come down onto the floor. We'll look at all the sort of the cosmetic side of the car, the bit that you probably want to sort of make good really. So the likes of the wheels, the paintwork, the chrome, all those sort of areas that we can do.
Right, okay.
Once we've done that, then the car will then go on a test drive. We can then, all this information will get down from the test run. The whole process generally takes me around sort of 2 hours. So within that time, if you're happy to sit and have a tea and coffee and have a wait around, or you're happy to sort of have a walk around in the showroom, and at the end we'll go through everything and we'll discuss what we need to do.
Okay.
This is one area of concern, is a metal fuel link pipe which links the fuel pump to the fuel filter. As you can see, it's very, very rusty where it links the two together. One sort of slight fracture, we would lose quite a bit of a fuel would come out of there. So I would advise to get that replaced sort of as soon as possible. One other area of concern is a rear prop shaft coupling. If you look, you can see a hairline crack. It's actually splitting the rubber apart due to age over the time. It's quite common on SLs for these to go. This is going to deteriorate over time, so I'd advise to sort of get this replaced sort of as soon as possible. Another area of concern, as you can see, is these front subframe bushes. You can see the gap in here that's worn sort of over time. The top there is where it's actually collapsed. There's 4 of these that sit in a frame. Advise changing all 4 of them at the same time, and generally alongside the engine mountings at the same time, so all 6 bushes get replaced. It does make a big difference to the front suspension on the car. Going over small bumps, you don't get that rattle from the sort of the front of the suspension. So I advise on getting these changed sort of as soon as possible. Just on the road test here now, so one area that I'm going to point out is the amount of play that's in the steering wheel. It's quite common on 107s. A simple adjustment can take that out. Usually sort of an inch of play, sort of to and fro, a little bit uncontrolled to sort of drive at speeds. And also sort of going over these sort of bumps in the road, you can feel the sort of the patter on the front and the vibration coming through the front end of the car would sort of indicate that the front subframe bushes have got some wear showing, and possibly the engine mountings as well. When we were looking on the ramp, we were looking at the brakes as well, sort of feeling that they were stiff on the one side. If I just apply the brakes very slowly, you can sort of feel the car sort of drift to one side, indicating that the brakes are sort of snatching a little bit. So that's sort of 3 things of concern really.
A good car, to be fair.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think all the we've got some issues with the car as we know about, mainly sort of cosmetic, which you pointed out when you first sort of come here. So I thought we'd make you sort of aware of those really. The first one is the front subframe bushes for the engine.
All right. Well, I don't know what they are.
Generally, the engine sits like in a cradle, and there's 4 bushes that sit in each of the corners. I picked them up when I was on underneath the ramp doing an inspection, but obviously most of all I picked it up when I was on the test drive. You again tend to get a lot of shudder through the front when you go over some small bumps. Generally you would change the engine mountings at the same time, so it's like a set of 6.
Is that a big job?
Generally around 3 to 4 hours to change something like that, but it does transform the front nose of the cars. Over sort of 25 years, it's deteriorated very slowly. So once we get those changed, you do find it does make quite a bit of a difference. So probably worth getting those done, really. You did point out that you were going to do on some sort of continental driving, so you're going to do a few miles in the car, and probably with some hot climates as well. There's a fuel link pipe that links the filter, etc. at the back. It's quite rusty. It does need sort of replacing. I'd advise to get that replaced. If it was to fracture, it's probably going to lose quite a bit of your fuel. That's quite a bit of a worry.
Right, okay, that'd be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, so that needs doing. Another one as well is a rear prop shaft coupling on the back.
Okay.
You've got 2 sort of couplings that sit on the back of the prop shaft. There's one at the front and one at the back, and the back one's sort of cracked. It's got some hairline cracks that are coming in it quite badly.
Okay.
So I'd advise in sort of getting that replaced as well.
Again, is that affect the sort of potential safety or integrity of the car?
With the miles that you're probably intending going to do with the car, it's going to break up at some point. It's only going to get worse. So it's all in line with what we've spoke about with the other issues as well, really. One thing you pointed out, the brakes.
Yeah, they were a little bit sticky.
Yeah, you're quite right with those. I noticed that the front brake caliper on the passenger side was quite sticking. You can get hold of the wheel and it's binding quite badly. So you.
Oh, is that what it was then?
That's I think that's the area of your brakes. The rest of them are all okay. You know, your discs and your pads were all fine. It was just that one area, so you need to get that looked at. But all this will come in a big report. You'll get an email copy of it all through, with all the labour lines, all the costs to be there, all the parts needed to do all those jobs. Feel free anytime to sit down and look at this. Pick the phone up. You know, we can go through any sort of the issues that are on there, really. All right.
Okay.
Hopefully it's been of some use today.
It has, you know,
Yeah,
and I look forward to receiving the email, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we generally takes 2 or 3 days to get that through, and I think that will sort of iron out any of the problems that you got.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks
Okay.
very much. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks ever so much.
As this is the first Mercedes SL that I've ever purchased, I felt it was important to get the car inspected, especially as there isn't any service history with the car. And having spent a couple of hours here today, I feel that leaving the car with the SL shop is the right thing for me.